cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name is Sunny. I am your host. I'm here with my co-host, Caleb.
Hello.
And of course, before we get too far in, we want to thank the patrons for supporting the podcast. So, a huge thank you to Cam Yang. Pot of Greed is tax evasion. Zephyrus, Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, Gate Guardian Support, HGH Cyber, Josh Rosen, Marshawn Jones, Zephyrus. Nope, that's Zephyrus. There's Zephyrus and there's Zephyrus, and I get y'all mixed up. Yeet Defeat, AD, Anthony Leela, Blackwing, Floodgate, Armor Master, Dank Nugs, Earth Machine, Best Deck, Eepy, I Am McLincoln, Konami, please print Rusty Bardishan Ultimate Rare, I'm begging you. I guess that would be an alright Ultimate Rare.
Yeah.
Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pig, Rudolph, Sprite, Farter. Stop right there, criminal scum. You violated BOFA.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dang it.
I was trying not to laugh and
Sorry, it didn't work, whoever you are. Both of these nuts.
listen. You really need to come up with something a little more. Oh, that's a little less.
Honestly, I think they did it as a layup for you to go, both of these nuts, and you didn't do it.
Very possibly, but it's got to be something a little less basic than someone's favorite anime being Naruto.
I'm not going to touch it. Tier Limit Best Deck, the Hoover Dam is a Floodgate, Unbanned number 95, Konami, Understanding and Reading are two different things, Virtually Saviors World, Zingis Khan, Aaron Gardner, Asami, Brandon Potter, Dragon Maidenless Behavior, Jerry Beans, man. Long Ring, Long Land is my favorite One Piece arc. That's fine, you're allowed to be wrong. Nordic Best Deck, Old Man Red, Pin Code 143, Ray Powell, Shockmaster did nothing wrong, Slaking it up. Stop crying about Called By, it's balanced. Wait, what? There's no way I can legally say that. And, why, yes, I can say that. VFD's nuts in your mouth. That's true comedy.
True comedy.
That is absolutely. That's awesome. I gotta admit, that was worth it. Playing off somebody else's patron name, that's good stuff.
That's golden.
All right, so let's go ahead and take just a moment to thank a couple of sponsors while we're here. So. First, we want to thank the one and only Dragon Shield for sponsoring the program. Now, Dragon Shield is one of the largest TCG manufacturing TCG accessory manufacturers in the world. And they manufacture sleeves, playmats, deck boxes, all those wonderful things that you love. And they also have a way to do custom sleeves. You can do custom sleeves on their website. You can also get some new sleeves starting on the 26th, which I think is this Friday. You can actually get some new designs and new colors. The new colors will be Ruby, Sapphire, and Bolt Reaper,
which we have been repping for about for a couple of weeks now.
Yes,
they are. Let me put it like this: the silver and the Sapphire and Ruby ones. Almost said silver, because the Sapphire and Ruby ones are red and blue. But they have like little tiny silver flecks in them that kind of give it a
pop.
Yeah, a really almost metallic pop to them.
Right.
While still having that same matte feeling.
Yes. And the Bolt Reaper ones are some art sleeves. They're very, very cool. And be sure to go and follow us on Twitter, because on Twitter, we're going to be giving away one Bolt Reaper playmat, which is also something new that's coming.
With a matching tube.
Yes, it's a matching tube that comes with it. It is super, super duper awesome. Be sure to be looking out on our Twitter for that. The giveaway will go up around the same time as this podcast episode. So, if you're interested in some awesome Dragon Shield products like custom sleeves or getting a new deck box or anything like that, be sure to go ahead and use our affiliate link, which is in the description down below. It costs you nothing extra to support the podcast. So, the last thing I'm going to plug before we get on into the actual, real, verified, actual content is...
I promise.
Yeah. I do also want to talk about Millennium Threads. They are a sponsor of the podcast, and Really, really wonderful people over there. It is a custom Etsy store. They do custom embroidery, and they have a wonderful, wonderful selection of Yu-Gi-Oh themed apparel. We personally got some hoodies from them that we love. So be sure to check out Millennium Threads, and if you use discount code TOPCUT10, this is new, TOPCUT10, TOPCUT10. If you use TOPCUT10, you get 10% off of your order, putting a hoodie around $55, which is not bad for a custom embroidered hoodie. So if you're interested in that, be sure to go onto their Etsy site, following the link down below, to go ahead and check that out. So let's get on into the actual real content.
Oh yeah.
We have a few things that we want to cover today. So the first thing I want to talk about is Tcg Player Sold Out.
Yes. They have officially been purchased by eBay.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what this means for Tcg Player, I really don't know, unfortunately.
Well, the announcement, the press release said that they would continue business as usual, and that it's more to be to the benefit of eBay. That way they can kind of understand how TCG Player's practices work. And it'll also be to the benefit of TCG Player to kind of have the backing of a large giant in the retail industry.
Yes, but like another thing is that eBay also doesn't necessarily have any reason to keep TCG Player going, as technically it is a competitor.
Yeah, but
now they're also collecting all the profits from TCG Player, so it's like
right.
There is kind of an incentive just to keep it working as it is. There's also an incentive to just shut it down.
Well, eBay has another incentive to shut down TCG Player, as not necessarily as its own entity, but to really change drastically how things work. And this is going to sound really dumb, but a couple of years ago, TCG Player's stock workers and all of their back employees, they unionized.
Oh, yeah.
So technically, if that becomes too much of a pain, eBay could shut the entire company down. I don't see that happening, but
they theoretically could.
They theoretically could if it becomes too much of a pain. Again, I don't see that being the reason that eBay shuts TCG Player down. I think it would have that I'm sure that there was a certain amount of understanding that buying a company whose workers have unionized,
it means you're going to have to deal with a union.
Right. But that is something to consider. And as someone who works and is in a union, I always think about the union employees and what something like this could mean for them. So it's just something that I keep in the back of my mind. I hope that this works out well, not just for the executive teams, but for everybody.
Yeah, not just for eBay, but also for TCG Player and the bottom rung workers on both ends. Right,
because a lot of times when buyouts like this happen, executives will get millions and millions of dollars of bonuses.
Yeah, but
and a lot of times the bottom rung people will get forgotten about.
Usually they just end up getting the axe, figuratively.
Yeah.
They just get fired.
Yeah. I don't know. I worry because TCG Player has been a pretty good partner for us. TCG Player helps out the podcast a lot. We always say check out the TCG Player affiliate link.
Yep.
Which a lot of people do, and it helps out the podcast. Generally, full disclosure, we get anywhere from which I say a lot. It's not a lot of money. Usually it's 16 on the low end to sometimes as high as $40 to $50 on the high end a month, which is on its own almost enough to cover the subscription service that we use to post the podcast.
To be fair, I also went in with the TCG Player affiliate link expecting zero.
Well,
fully expecting nothing. But then, as soon as you get $1, it's like, woo!
Right. Well, we also started the podcast expecting no listeners.
Exactly. So, and here we are.
we're on the pessimistic side. So, overall, though, I think that this is really interesting. I don't think we've had something like this happen in the Yu-Gi-Oh community before. Way back in the day, you had Yu-Gi-Oh singles. And
and there's also Troll and Toad for a
well,
while.
Troll and
they're
Toad
still around. But...
Troll and Toad basically ran off Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles.
Yeah.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles was the big site, and then Troll and Toad came around, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles went under, and Troll and Toad was basically the only site. And then after a while, eBay's creeping around doing its thing, but not everybody really trusts eBay because at that time, eBay wasn't as trusted as it is now.
Yeah, because there was little to no actual protections built into eBay at the time, because it was just a fancier version of Facebook Marketplace. Right.
So now you have, at that point, Troll and Toad, maybe eBay, and then around comes ARG. ARG had a huge hand in Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles and sealed product. I know the first booster box I ordered from ARG. Mm-hmm. So when you're going from Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles to Troll and Toad to ARG. ARG was big for a long time. And then really TCG Player kind of came in and took over the industry a few years ago.
By just having good practices.
Right. And, well, ARG also, it's a successful retail location now that does both cards and is an ice cream parlor, I think.
That's a weird combo.
Yeah. So they have a successful retail location, but the other thing about ARG is that it's very... I think they got warnings from Konami for their ARG Circuit series.
Maybe.
So...
maybe something like that.
I think they had to back off of Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, but ARG has completely fallen out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Essentially.
Which I really miss their
blog.
Yeah, their blogs.
Dude,
and forums
the
and
old
such.
Those blogs are all still there.
Mm-hmm.
And the old ARG blogs from like 2010 to 2015 are some of the best resources for old Yu-Gi-Oh! Knowledge, because you had some of the best players in the game. Think about the hive mind that was Team ARG circa 2010, 2011. You have Joe Giorlando, Patrick Hoban, Billy Brake, Fraser Smith, Tyree Tinsley, I think. I mean, such a masterclass of the best at the time. Because really, when you think about it, there was maybe 80 players. And this is something that MBT says a lot, so like credit to him for saying this. But at the time, you maybe had 80 players who were they basically were the entire hive mind behind Yu-Gi-Oh! For a long time. They kind of went through and they made all of the major innovations. They did everything with deck lists. Anything cool that you saw, a lot of times it was within those 70 or 80 players. And now the torch has passed on to a new generation. And with the current state of internet access and access to information that we have, which is kind of an unheralded and not necessarily unheralded so much as it's not really appreciated enough how much information we have at our fingertips, to the point where I really think that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Player base is better now than it ever has been, right? We have more skillful and knowledgeable players now than we ever have.
Oh yeah, but not only that, there's also a much freer exchange of knowledge and exchange of ideas. Not even exchange of knowledge, more of an exchange of ideas.
Right.
Because literally anyone with any idea can just go post it somewhere, and it kind of spreads around. And that's where you get silly things like Silent Graveyard being run.
Hey. Don't go running around spewing about my tech option, okay?
I legitimately forgot you were teching that.
Sure, you just looked through my side deck. I saw you. I saw you thumbing through my side deck just now.
To be fair, I wasn't really looking. I was just kind of thumbing through it.
Sure. Giving away the goo.
To, have something in my hands to mess with.
Yeah, I'm teching Silent Graveyard for tier limit. What of it?
Yeah, but then, then there's also Silent... No, not Silent. It wasn't a Silent card. It was Offerings to the Doomed being run in, like, striker builds.
Right, and people knew that card was being run and why it was being run and understood its application within like an hour.
After the tournament was over.
Right.
Again, due to the exchange of ideas on a global scale. Not necessarily global.
Yeah, global, yeah.
The only reason why I don't say global is because of the OCG.
I mean,
So,
we still get deck lists and ideas from the OCG.
Yeah. So, exchange of ideas globally with an asterisk of almost exclusively the TCG side. Almost, because you
Mostly.
are correct. We also get deck lists. That's how people kind of figure out combos, is by watching OCG builds and see them working to see how the combos work, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of times we get the first iteration of basically any deck from the OCG. If you look at the Sprite Deck, all the first iterations of the Sprite decks all came from the OCG. That's why the Diva Hero build was so the Deep Sea Diva build was so popular at first, even though it's probably not the best version of the deck. Well, yeah, there's like 4 good versions of Sprite, but still.
And that's not even including just pure Sprite, which is pretty solid by itself.
Well,
I say pretty solid.
there is no real pure Sprite because they're always at least playing like a 4 to 5 card Frog engine.
Yeah, or this other. They're always running another engine. But like, even if you were to run it pure for some reason, it's fine.
Yeah, I think that we have gotten way off topic, but
We have.
the point is we haven't ever seen something like this in the card selling and buying industry.
The nearest thing that we've seen to this was when Upper Deck was no longer allowed to produce Yu-Gi-Oh cards and
Distribute and things like that.
and run the tournaments.
Right.
That's the nearest thing to this we've ever seen.
Honestly, yeah.
It's not even anywhere in the same ballpark of what's going on.
Right. But at the same time, it's hard to overstate how important and majorly this is going to shift what will essentially be, outside of Facebook, this will basically be a full-on monopoly within the trading card game sales sphere online. Outside of exactly Facebook, there's not really a place where you can go to buy and sell trading cards anymore, or at least Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc. Except for Facebook, except for eBay and TCG Player.
And Amazon. You can get them on Amazon, but if you're talking purchasing it from
Yes,
an
technically
individual-
Troll and Toad and Amazon are both still
but
viable sellers.
and that's a big but. TCG Player was just the GOAT.
Yeah, and there's a chance that they're right.
Yeah,
There
nothing
is
changes.
no major changes. And if there's not, that's awesome. And if there are changes and they're nothing but good, that's even better.
Like, who knows? Maybe eBay will actually get TCG Player's app to work properly.
That's low. That's low.
You're
You're right, but it's low.
Or even better yet, make it so that way, whenever you're searching a card in TCG Player's website and you put in a hyphen, that it doesn't just mess everything up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, you can't say all of this at once. TCG Player's not gonna like that. We have an affiliate link with them. Come on now.
But in all seriousness though, even with those two negatives, TCG Player is still right now one of the best places to purchase. Like, no joke.
Oh, for sure. So,
yeah. So moving right along, we do have a couple of new cards actually.
yeah, we do have a couple of cards that we're going to talk about here.
Yep. Well, like one new card, more information on the Trap Tricks Structure Deck.
What do we have?
Okay, so we actually have the full product detail.
Okay.
Let's see. The pre-structured Trap Tricks deck, Structure Deck Force of the Trap Tricks goes on sale December 3rd. Comes with a power pack. All 5 different cards included can potentially be secrets, although only 1 per pack. And then that's a pre-constructed deck. 1 deck power up includes an ultra rare and 4 supers. All 5 cards can be secret, and a special dual field in the playing guide. Nothing new, but it's the specific details on what's going to be included in the packaging, just not individual cards yet. Which is the big thing I'm looking for. That I'm looking forward to, I mean.
Right. Yeah. It'll be good.
Yep. I mean, like a nice Traptrix Raflacia, maybe a Gravedigger Trap Hole reprint would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, that would be welcome.
Among some other interesting trap holes. Who knows? Maybe even like a new trap hole that's actually good. Besides Gravedigger.
That would be very nice.
Moving right along, we have the next V-Jump promo.
What do we got?
Okay, it is called Kitty Tail, Mystical Beast of the Forest. Earth Beast, level 2, 200 attack and defense. Its effect is currently a secret. The taglines mention that it is a level 2 beast monster that has 2 effects that support Beast, Beast Warrior, Winged Beast, Insect, and Plants. So not just your standard tri-type, but also insect and plant type monsters on top of that. And yes, from the name and the art, is related to the other mystical beasts of the forest monsters, like Calantosa, Uniflora, or Valerfon.
Yes.
Or Valeraphon. Carpoponica, and Alpa Caribou.
Anytime I hear Caribou now, I think about the One Piece character.
Yeah. So, yes, that's going to be really interesting, particularly because all the other ones were very specifically beast support. This one is Beast, Beast Warrior, Winged Beast, Insect, and Plant.
Right.
Which, depending upon what that effect is, this could very possibly be a bridge in between, like, Sprite into maybe a Eureka, like a Sprite Eureka build.
Or
because it's level 2.
Tri-Brigade Sprite. Beast.
Yes, another beast, proper beast target for that as well, because it's level 2.
Oh, goodness, yes. Let's do it.
So theoretically, you can normal summon your Rescue Cat, tribute it for Kit and this guy.
Yes.
And then, depending upon what its effect is, it might like go and fetch. It might like on summon go and fetch a Beast Warrior, Winged Beast, Plant, or Insect.
Rescue Cat negates the effects.
Never mind.
Now it does anyway.
Yeah. So then, I mean, that would immediately give you a nice go right into Giant right there.
Mm-hmm.
As summon 4, activate effect.
Oh, yes.
Protects you from Nibiru. But yeah, detach Kit, and then Kit's effect would go off.
Yes, please.
Which I think you can already do that, because isn't Karis level 2 as well?
So Karis is level 2. What would you do is you would go normal summon Rescue Cat, summon Kit, summon Karis, make Gigantic. Well, really, probably link off into Ferrijit.
Mm-hmm.
Kit, send Nerval search Fractal. Actually, probably Nerval search Karis. And then Ferrijit, summon Karis effect to make... Karis at that point would have, oh gosh, at least 3 materials in grave to summon something.
But you don't want to activate that yet.
Well, you do. You activate Karis, summon a 3.
But then you can't make Elf.
Well, you use Karis and Ferrijit to make Gigantic, because you can use a link 2 for Gigantic.
Oh, that's true.
And then Gigantic's 3200 attack. And then Gigantic effect, summon Blue search Jet, summon Jet.
Yeah,
and then you can make, then that's how you
Elf.
make. And then if you have the 3, it's probably Hrossvalgar. And Hrossvalgar is he's a DD Crow. Actually, he's better. He shuffles it back into the deck.
You wouldn't be able to make Hrossvalgar there.
Why?
Because he's rank 3.
Off the Karis effect earlier.
Oh, that's true, because you're not linked. Well, no, I think it says you can't special summon. Period.
You're not locked yet.
Yeah, because as soon as you activate the Giant, you get locked. But the issue...
You do it with when you have Ferrijit and Karis on board. You haven't made Giant yet.
But then you can't make Elf.
Why?
Because the Tri-Brigades, don't they, whenever you activate their effects to banish, special summon, lock you in from then on only using Beast, Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast as link materials?
Yes.
At that point, I don't think you can make Elf, unless Elf is more generic.
2 level 2s.
Okay, Elf's more generic than I was
Actually,
expecting.
a monster and a level 2. Level or rank 2 or link 2.
Okay. So Elf is just more generic than I was expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got with that before. Elf is way more generic than you would expect.
Yeah, okay, alright, yeah. So then you summon Hrossvalgar and then use Karis and Fractal to make Elf.
Wait, how do you get a Fractal?
not fractal. You use whatever other beast or winged beast you have on field with Karis to make the elf.
Well, you have to make gigantic.
Yeah, and then gigantic.
Use Ferjit and Karis to make gigantic.
After making Hrosswalker.
Yes, and then gigantic. That's when you get into your combo. Keep in mind, all you've used so far for all of this is one rescue cat.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, you have a lot more going on.
Yeah. It's a lot of moving parts that I don't fully understand because I don't have the cards right here in front of me.
The deck is really cool.
Yeah, and I work best if I have the cards in front of me so I can like pick up, read them, kind of.
Right. The deck is really cool though.
Anyway, but yeah, like depending upon what this kitty tail does, we're possibly seeing one of with 3 rescue cats and like every single beast deck from now on.
Potentially.
Particularly if its effect activates when it gets sent to the graveyard.
Right. That would be very nice.
Yeah, because I think either Kalantosa or Valeraphon does something like that.
Kalantosa, its effect activates on summon, so it doesn't work with rescue cat.
Okay, so it's Valeraphon.
I have no idea.
I don't fully remember. It's been forever since I've read those cards.
Yeah.
Like I haven't read those cards in like 2 years, a year, something like that.
Yeah, same. All right. Next, we have Arabesque of the Mikanko?
Yeah, Mikanko, yeah.
All right, equip spell card. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. 2, during your main phase, you can special summon one Mikanko monster from your hand or deck with a different original name than the equipped monster, and if you do, equip this card to it, then return the monster as equipped to the hand. Interesting.
I think we already talked about this.
No, we didn't talk about this card, but I think we talked about the Mikanko archetype.
Yeah, like the rest of the archetype. I think what it was, they gave us the archetype, gave us a card, and then gave us another equip spell, and they gave us that equip spell. Back to back.
Potentially. We don't have much information on the Mikankos yet, though.
Yeah. we have the basis of the archetype, so we can kind of already give a guesstimation whether the archetype's going to be good. It's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be good though because they kind of rely on a ritual monster.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds right.
Yeah. Now, granted, they can play without it. They can easily play with their 2 main deck monsters because one searches the other one, but then also the equips. And then some of the equips you equip your opponent's monster and get effects off, even if you don't have one of them. It's pretty cool.
Right.
It's a really interesting take on an equip-based ritual deck.
It really is. Okay. So, let's do an ad read real quick. So, Let's just talk real quick about ETB. ETB Games is our locals in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you are interested, check them out. Their link is in the description down below. But long story short, ETB is your one-stop shop for all of your card game needs. They have all of your singles and sealed product for the games you love, like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Digimon, etc. And they also have all of your binders, deck boxes, sleeves, playmats, and more. They also have everything that you need for all of your tabletop games that you play. Be sure to check out ETB Games. Like I said, there's a link in the description down below.
As a matter of fact, I actually picked up the Lilithmon Digimon card I use for my field center from there.
Oh, nice. I picked up a lot of my Pokemon cards that I use as my tokens for the Sword Souls.
From there, yeah.
Yeah, and I got like the Golden Mew from the Celebrations set.
Yeah.
I got that from there. I think I got my Dark Blastoise and maybe my Vaporeon there. Because I like to use water types for my Sword Soul tokens because they're all water.
You also picked up the Gyarados from there too.
Yeah, the Dark Gyarados, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I got the Blastoise there, but I think I got the Dark Gyarados. I don't know. I think I pulled it all there, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, because you bought one of the...
I think I bought 3 Celebrations ETBs and opened them and pulled the nuts and then proceeded to hold all the cards. And now the ETB is worth like 3 times as much as what I paid for it.
Yep.
So I took an L there. That's what I get for opening sealed product because it never goes down.
I mean,
except for Blazing Vortex, that one stayed down.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, you also have some of the coolest tokens that you've probably ever used in your opinion.
That's Fair. I mean, I could use cool OTS tokens. I could use the slime token. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah. You could use
Any number of cool things.
yeah, you could use
but
scapegoat tokens.
those are boring. Anyway, all right. So why don't we talk a little bit about the European Championship from this past weekend? So this is the European World Championship qualifier.
I don't, but let's do it anyway.
Why don't you give me some of your initial thoughts? I don't know how much you know about this weekend and kind of what happened.
Listen. The only thing that I care about is the fact that Mystic Mine Turbo deck got into top 4. I hate it.
It's a problem.
I hate it and I love it. I love it because that means that Konami
Top
is...
4? What do you mean? One won the tournament.
Yeah.
And another one got top 4.
Yeah. So which means that Konami is probably going to address Mystic Mine finally. Hopefully. This will get it into Konami's head that, hey, this card's a problem.
We hope.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they hit it and not like, okay, cool, we're just going to ban terraforming, we're going to ban Demise the Land, we're going to ban Metaverse, ban everything around it but the card.
Right.
Let's hope they don't do that. That would be awful.
Okay, so let's talk kind of about the final standings. So, of course, we want to give a huge shout out to Marcus Patel. Marcus Patel played Eureka and won the entire event.
Woo!
Yeah, you heard that right.
Eureka.
He won the event with Eureka.
It was Eureka with Mystic Mine, though, wasn't it?
Okay, so yes, and it was also playing Rivalry of Warlords in the main deck.
Jesus!
And it was also on the Gina Sunseed Loci. So it was Eureka with the Sun Avalon card. So it was like Sun Avalon Eureka.
Interesting, actually.
Right.
So kind of a Eureka plant link.
Right, that was the concept. Yeah.
Which is really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then
I would
Mystic
just be
Mine.
yeah. I would just be watching his matches and I would look away from my computer, like in the finals is a great example. He 2-0'd his opponent in the finals in like, I don't know, 15 minutes.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I looked up from my computer and when I looked away, he had like one monster on board. And I look back and his opponent's just staring at him and he's got like 8 monsters. That's right. In his 6 monster zones, he had 8 monsters.
How?
Because he's better than you. That's how.
But no, really, how?
It was like 4. I don't know.
Oh, okay. He had a crap ton of monsters.
The point is he's better than you.
Yeah.
So it's
Kind of
crazy, though, how explosive the deck is. It's actually insane.
Wait, better than me is a really low bar.
That's true. He's a lot better than you.
That's still too low of a bar, my man.
Well, in the finals, he played against Zio Mundry, who is on Tearlament. Specifically, he was on Danger Tearlament.
Ooh!
Yeah, so the Danger version of the deck is essentially you're playing like Danger Mothmen and stuff like that. And the Danger engine essentially allows you to... I mean, if they hit the wrong card in your hand... It gets all your dead Tearlaments out of your hand, and
That's true.
And it puts them engraved to where you can activate their effects.
That's true. That's best case. Worst case scenario, your opponent ends up discarding the Danger, and you get another effect anyway.
Right.
And you just kind of shrug at it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting. It's a really interesting concept. So, but it's very good though because it's well represented in the top 16. So. Next, we have your top 4 there was 2 different top 4s, obviously. One was Lars, who was playing Altergeist.
Which is just Mystic Mine Turbo.
Yeah, he was playing like 3 Demise of the Land, 3 Mystic Mine. He was playing Metaverse. He was playing, everything. He was playing everything.
I think the only thing he wasn't playing was set rotation.
You know, I didn't look at the deck profile, but there's an outside chance because that dude was playing all of them.
I looked at it. I didn't see set rotation.
Was he playing Secret Village of Spellcasters?
No.
Really?
I didn't see one. He probably was, but I also did not see set rotation
Right.
because, because then you would probably want to give your opponent something more like pseudo-space
Right.
as opposed to a card they might actually be able to use, like Secret Village Spellcasters or their own Mystic Mine.
Right. So next we have, also in top 4 was a Sprite Deck. This Sprite we've already talked about Frog engines and Diva engines. Some people are playing Adventure. Some people are playing an engine that's best described as Beckoning Beast Turbo.
I've seen that.
So it's Dark Beckoning Beast, Deep Sea Diva, and Adventure are the 3 popular engines. There are also some people playing like Nimble Beaver and stuff.
Nimble
Angler.
Angler, yes.
Beavers and Anglers. But this one was playing the Evil Twin engine.
Which was another one I have seen people talk about.
Right. So, but the Evil Twins engine is kind of cool because of just the interactions that it has on your opponent's turn.
Yeah. Plus you can go into the big one, Sunny, Trouble Sunny.
Right. So
I keep wanting to call it Sunny Snitch. I'm like, no, that's like
a totally different card. Yeah.
Yeah. That it does feature Trouble Sunny on it. But
It's crazy.
It's not what card we're talking about.
I don't think it does actually, because I think Sunny Snitch came out way earlier.
It did, but it was like the first encounterance of Trouble Sunny herself. Themselves?
Themselves?
Because it's 2.
Plural?
And whatever.
Would it be singular or plural?
I don't know. Okay.
Singular?
Because we don't know if that's their name, if that's just like their group name, because it's 2 people on the card. We don't know if that's just the group name is Trouble Sunny, or if it's like one's name is Sunny, the other one's name is Trouble. It's then group name, and it's still kind of a group name.
Trouble is the worst villain from all of One Piece. Changed my view. So, I will say that
That's not this discussion on Trouble Sunny though is not important.
Yeah, no, it kind of is. So here's my thing. It is singular if there's only one copy of the card.
That's fair.
Other than that, it's themself, or that. Otherwise, it's themselves. If there's multiple copies of the card, it's themselves.
That's fair. That is fair. Let's just go with that, I guess.
Oh my god.
This is why I don't like cards with 2 people on them, where they don't make it blatantly clear if the name
What's
is talking.
what?
Yeah, if their name's talking about them as a group or individuals.
All right. Next we have 3 top 8s. So we don't have every top 8 deck list. We're missing 1, but we have Frederico, who is on Sprite.
Cool.
Joshua Schmidt, who was on Sprite. Ryan Jabri, who was on Sprite. So Sprite's pretty popular, and this was specifically Sprite with an adventure package. Oh boy. Let's talk about some top 16s. We have a few of the top 16. Again, not all of it. By the way, a huge shout out to Sebto for putting this list together, doing all the footwork, putting the graphs together, everything. Oh my god, Sebto, you're amazing. Also, I think it's twitch.tv/Sebto360, I think is the Twitch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sebto's on Twitch, though. Please be sure to check him out. He's awesome.
Yeah, super cool dude.
Next, we have Alex Robertson on Eureka. This is, like I said, top 16. And then we have a couple more sprites, a couple more tier elements. And yeah, that's the last top 16. So we have 2 more sprites, 2 more tier elements, and a Eureka. Both of the tier elements were on the Danger package. So far, all the tier elements we've seen are on Danger. Then we have...
maybe that's just the best version of the deck based on these results anyway.
Maybe. We have 4 more lists for top 32, so we're missing a bunch of top 32. They're all Sprite, and 3 of them are Adventure. Then we're going to some top 64 stuff. We have 1 Fluwanderees. Honestly, I'd rather play against Sprite.
Same.
And then we have 3 more Sprite, 1 of which is Adventure, 4 Tier Element, 3 of which are Danger Tier Element. And then we get into the top 128, which is 2 Fluwanderees, 1 Math Mech, 1 Rika, 4 Sprite, one of which is Adventure, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 Tearlament, 5 of which are Dangers, and 1 is Punk. And then we got some regional results from around the country. So we have 1 MathMech from El Salvador regional that got first place. We don't know who the duelist is because it literally says IDK sorry in the box for the name.
There's no telling that.
Yeah. Then we have Miss Elise Davis, who was playing Tearlament Branded, who got first place at the Minneapolis regional. We have a couple of top 4s, which are Sprite Adventure and Sword Soul. Let's go.
Woo!
Then we have a couple of top 4s from the Louisville regional, which that is 1 Sprite and 1 Tearlament, who was their side engine was just labeled as quote unquote spicy.
Whatever that means.
Right. Comes to a few top 8s from the Minneapolis regional and a remote regional. So we have 1 Drytron, 1 Sprite. Top 8 from the remote was Tearlament Branded. Then we got a top 4 from the Richmond, Virginia regional, which was Sprite Adventure. So if you missed all of that we said, we had probably about 9 events this weekend, including a couple of remote duel regionals, the European World Championship qualifier, and regular regionals all over the world. Mexico, El Salvador, Paraguay, and then like 4 in the US, 4 or 5. So, of all of those regionals and everything else, I think it's pretty clear and obvious what the numbers say, right? Sprite and Tearlament are really good.
I mean, at bare minimum, they have the representation.
Right. So Sprite currently represents, at least in what from the data that we have so far, Sprite represents 43.6% of the meta, and Tearlament represents 35.9% of the meta, with the rest of the meta combined taking up roughly about 22%, 21%.
One thing I found interesting is how like the nearly 50% Sprite representation in top.
That was just from the European Championship.
Yeah, from top 16 didn't translate well into top 8.
As far as the what?
As far as like the European Championship.
But what deck did you say?
Sprite.
Oh, you mean the top 8 didn't translate well into top 4?
Yeah, well, I mean, even top 16 and top 8 didn't translate the best, and then
well, top 8 was at least 4 of them were Sprite.
Yeah, and then none of them made it into top.
One made it into top 4.
Top 4.
Top 4 is very diverse. Eureka, Tearlament, Altergeist, and Sprite. By the way,
but top 8 wasn't, which is fascinating to me.
Right, top 8 wasn't diverse at all. Top 8 was 50% Sprite.
Yeah.
So we have from the we have a couple of interesting tidbits of information. So for the first time since 2014, you have 4 different decks in top 4 of the EUWCQ. That's the first time, like I said, since 2014.
Ooh, that is interesting.
It's crazy how diverse this format actually is for what people claimed it was going to be. I'm sorry. It's youtube.com/thesebto360.
There we go.
So there will be a link in the description down below because you should absolutely check out Sebto. So, but I think that everyone was just expecting this to be Sprite and Tearlament, and I guess 80% of the way through it is. But it's just really interesting to me to see exactly how diverse this meta can be if it wants to be, you know?
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I mean, because, like, we had a regional not too long ago where Morences wanted out.
Really?
Yeah, it was...
How long ago was that? It sounds like it was a before Pote, huh?
No, post-Pote.
So this is in the last week or so.
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago? Yeah, that's about right. 2 weeks ago would have been post Power of the Elements.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually looked at his build. His build's really cool.
Right. Well, I think there's interesting things that something like a deck like Morences can do to truly combat directly into the meta. So
they can run Dweller.
You can also run Rivalry of Warlords.
Yeah. But here's the thing about Dweller, though, is because they can make Dweller, everything's water. So
Right.
not only does Dweller buff himself to 2200, which is big enough to be a problem, just big enough to be a problem. Keep that in mind.
Right.
Because that means bare minimum you can, during your turn, if your opponent has a window, like makes a window and leaves it, you can detach for its effect and then just crash.
Yes.
Which is, if you didn't detach for its effect during your opponent's turn. Doesn't matter. But not only that, he's also buffing all your other Marincess monsters, because they're all water as well. Making 3 equipped Argonaut go from 43 to 48.
Right.
500 may not sound like a lot, but it gets rough.
Yeah. So, I want to talk for a moment about how we feel about this meta and what we think needs to happen if we're going to fix it. So we only have a couple of minutes and then we need to do mailbag. But overall, and I got to say, this is not something I was expecting to say 2 or 3 weeks into the Pope meta. This meta is kind of sick to me.
I'm gonna wait for at least one more major tournament before I make my final decision on that. But so far, this meta isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, because there was a short time there I was thinking I was literally just going to have to not play Yu-Gi-Oh for a while because I just can't afford to build Sprite or Tearlament.
And those fears turned out to be demonstrably
Wrong.
unfounded.
Not unfounded, just straight up wrong.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
No, because unfounded to me kind of gives this. It was a thought you had, so it makes sense. It's not a thought I should ever have had to begin with. It was just straight up wrong.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of other decks that can be competitive that people weren't really expecting. I think that
Like Math Mech out of nowhere.
right now, the decks to be competitive, which is hilarious, but decks like Sword Soul, which are. It's a good deck. It's got a high power ceiling. I'm playing it now.
I think it's a very fair deck. Surprisingly,
Oh no, it's broken. It's not even that it's fair. It's not fair at all. It's just broken. The issue is you have to play a bunch of war crime cards, like Rivalry in the main deck, and a lot of them are playing like Mystic Mine. And it's like
I hate Mystic Mine so much.
Right. So,
my biggest issue with Mystic Mine entirely comes to the fact that if you don't want to lose to it in game 1, you have to make bad deck building choices.
yeah. Yes, that is a huge problem. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about our issues. Obviously, Mystic Mine, we're talking about it now. It's the number one issue that we have with the current format, right?
Oh, yeah. Again, like if it didn't require you to make bad deck building decisions just so you don't automatically lose game 1, if it didn't do that, I'd be like, it's whatever. It's like goes in a rivalry. It is what it is.
Right.
But no, if you don't have an out to Mystic Mine, you lose. Period.
To be fair, if I don't have an out to Tikaboo, I also lose.
A lot of people, if they don't have an out to Tikaboo. The thing about Tikaboo is that you can still kind of play...
I can't.
I can.
I can't.
Not well, but I can do it.
I cannot do it, not even poorly.
Yeah.
I literally do not have a way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! If somebody flips Tikaboo on me.
Rough.
I better hope that my 1800 Mo Yi is big enough to beat over whatever I need to beat over.
To be fair, most of the decks that actually can function under Tikaboo don't care. They just drop the big Golden Lord and go teehee.
Well, I mean, Tearlament can function under Tikaboo to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, not
Despia can do it pretty much entirely.
Not quite. If their Albaz is on field, they can't fuse into any of their any of their Dragon fusions. They can only go into Mirror Jade.
Still. Okay. So, overall, off the top of your head, you need to fix the format, quote unquote. Make 3 or 4 ban list changes really quick off the top of your head.
Okay, ban Mystic Mine.
Sure. Ban Artifact Scythe.
Ban Scythe. Limit Toad. Maybe. That's a big maybe.
Most decks are only playing 1 anyway. It's kind of useless.
That's why I said maybe.
let's be honest here. Hulka's a very cool card, but has it overstayed its welcome?
Oh, easily. So
I don't know that it has. I think it's a cool card, but everybody, I don't know. It's probably bannable for sure, but
like
it's a cool card.
Like every single time I see the Hulka Fibrax hit the board, I just go, ugh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here we go.
I think that much in the same vein that Verte was a cool card for fusion decks, but at the end of the day, it was a little too broken in its splashability.
Hilariously enough, because of the broken fusions they made to try to make up for the fact that the mechanic into the fusions sucks.
Right, like rituals. If you have a competitive ritual archetype, it is inherently broken because to make rituals competitive, they have to make the cards broken because the mechanic is inherently bad.
Especially ritual, because like
it's 3 cards for 1 essentially.
Yeah, compared to it's 4. It really it depends on what levels you're going for.
Still,
but it can be
or what attacks in the case of Drytron.
Yeah, but it can easily be a 4 or 5 card negative just to put out 1 card.
Right.
Compared to fusions, which normally is 3.
Yes.
Your spell card plus 2 monsters.
So ban Mine, ban Scythe, and limit every floodgate in the game?
I wouldn't say every single floodgate, because there are some floodgates that just aren't worth it. Like Abyss Dweller. I don't think...
We're going to get to Abyss Dweller.
Yeah, I don't think Abyss Dweller is worthy of a limit, or even a ban.
Yeah. Alright, let's do some mailbag questions.
Heck yeah! Woo!
Alright. If you could, what card would you edit, remove or add stipulations, etc.?
Okay.
I have my answer.
Okay. You give your answer.
Madolche Queen Tiramisu, make it generic.
Bro. I would just cause all floodgates that are actually floodgates to have in their text stating this is a floodgate card.
Oh, yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Because then the argument of whether or not a card is a floodgate is no longer a thing.
True.
It'll say right there on the card.
It'll say right there on every card that's not Appaloosa.
Because Appaloosa isn't a floodgate.
All right, and that's where we're going to end the podcast. No. What do you think the game will be like in 10 years? I'm not going to let you continue your thought. That's the end of that thought. What do you think the game will be like in 10 years?
Well, no, hold on. Let me finish my thought.
What's the game like in 10 years?
Wait, before we get into that, I have one more sentence to tack on to that.
Oh, God.
Because then you can add limitations on floodgates. Yes, you can run 3 Tikaboo if you want. You're not running 3 skill drains.
Right. You can have a grand total of 3 floodgates in your deck.
Yeah. Any 3.
Doesn't matter what they are. You can have 3.
You can have 3 copies of the same one.
I would honestly say like 5 is probably the right number.
Yeah.
Think about a deck like Eldritch.
Yeah, because that's what? 20% of your deck? No.
Well, I mean, the percentage of your deck varies depending on your deck size.
That's fair. That is fair.
In a 40-card deck, it would represent 1/8 of your deck, or 12.5%.
You know what? Let's just make it that exactly 1/8 of your deck is allowed to be floodgates. Because then you have so then if you go up and count, you can also add more floodgates.
Yeah, but then the issue
that would
becomes
require a chart.
Exactly.
Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Pathfinder, which is charts within tables within more charts. So my brain's all like, charts are fine. No, they're not.
No. What do you think the game will be like in 10 years? We're going to have a dark red extra deck mechanic. I don't know what it'll do or how it'll be or how it'll work, but we will have it.
Yeah, we will have a red extra deck mechanic of some kind. Very popular. Probably not even an extra deck mechanic, probably just a red card of some kind. Who knows? They might not make an extra deck mechanic. They might make it a main deck mechanic that kind of pulls a familiar possessed kind of thing out of it.
Right.
Or a Red Eyes Metal Dragon, where like whenever the conditions are met in your main deck, you can special summon a straight out of your main deck.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fire. If you hear me answer it, we'll probably just move on to the next one. Okay. With the results of the weekend's tournaments, is Sprite as good as we thought, or is it just an overall good deck?
Overall good deck.
Okay, so people are not gonna like this answer, but I agree it's an overall good deck, and here's why. Sprite is a very good deck with very good representation as well as very good translation into Top Cut. Mm-hmm. but it's also the deck with the highest representation overall in the room, probably
Yes. So
by a
just
fairly wide margin.
yeah. So like even if you remove skill and just the power of the deck, odds are a bunch of the deck's going to get in top cut.
Right. What rogue says Rouge, but
What rogue?
yeah, what rogue decks are if any are worth playing in the meta? Exosister,
Yes.
Math Mech, Eureka, and
Marincess.
Yeah. How good is Teflon FTK? Telfon. It's an interesting thing that you can do within the Tier Limit engine.
Yeah, until we get the Duke Devlin stuff, it's not going to be able to really...
It's not going to be near as consistent.
Yeah, you really need the Duke Devlin stuff to let you search out the telephons.
Yeah. Best advice you can give new players returning to the game. Just buy your staples. I know it sucks and they're expensive, but just...
Now, you don't necessarily have to go out and get like 3 Ash.
Yeah, you do. Just I mean, it's
like 3 Secret Ash, 3 Ult. You don't have to do that.
Just be smart with what you're buying.
Yeah, I would start with 3 Ash and then get like...
The thing is, again, be smart because in a month and a half, Ash is coming out in the Mega Tins.
Correct. Don't get it right now.
Yeah.
Give it a month.
Look around, see, hey, ask around, join the Discord server. Hey, I'm newer, I'm returning. Is this card that I want to get gonna get reprinted soon? Do we know? Imperm, it just got reprinted, so probably not for a while. Go ahead and just grab 3 supers.
Yeah, but like, now if you're like, I have like $20 to pick up hand traps, the best hand traps you can pick up, well, 2 of the best hand traps I know off the top of my head that you can pick up for dirt cheap are Gammas, Cyframe Gear Gamma.
What are you talking about? Those are $5 each.
Last time I looked, they were like $2 a pop.
Their rares are $5 each.
Since when?
For like months. For like 6 months.
I looked like 2 days, like 2 or 3 days ago.
You looked at the wrong one. They're like $5 to $6 a piece for rares.
No, I looked at Cyframe Gear Gamma because I was looking at how much to upgrade my rares would be into hollows.
A lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, those are expensive.
You can get Dark Ruler No Mores for very cheap.
Yeah.
You can get Artifact Lancias for very cheap. You can get a Dino Wrestler Pankratops for very cheap.
Effect Veiler.
You can get Effect Veiler fairly cheap. Droll Lockbird is dirt cheap now because of the rare printing. Skullmeisters are very good, very, very, very cheap card.
Very cheap. I think Ghost Bells are kind of cheap.
Ghost Bells are like, for like $4, $3-4. Gammas are like, I'm telling you, they're like $5-6.
I see. It was a damaged copy that I was looking at.
Okay.
And it messed with all the metrics.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Got it. Let's see.
There's a lot of good cards, but I would also recommend, unless you are going to try to make money back, I would just kind of not invest in a super hardcore meta strategy right away.
Yeah.
I would pick a strategy that is sound and not getting hit on the ban list anytime soon.
Unfortunately, DD Crow, which is another major
are like $7 a piece.
$9
for the lowest.
Yeah.
Yeah, DD Crows are insane right now.
That's for the OTS pack. OTS pack tournament pack 3. Ugh, common.
Right. Anyway, they're just be frugal with how you spend your money and spend smart. Unless you just want to spend a lot of money, in which case, max rarity things like ultimate rares of staples don't ever lose their value.
But your best bet is to find a community and then talk to them.
Oh God, yes.
And they can help you out.
What is the best way to advance in game? So it says in game, but I think it means in the game. I would say, like what Caleb just said, find a community and talk it out. Although, honestly, you are the circle that you surround yourself with, and the best thing that you can do is surround yourself with people that all want to get better, and your testing circle is everything. This is also going to play directly into the same question. I just read the next question, and it's like, so how do you play test, and what are you thinking about when you are playing to specifically test against the current meta? So, but continue what you're saying.
Well, okay, so I was going to say, as far as the actual play testing and getting better, you're going to lose a lot. Be prepared for that.
Also, play testing is not about winning or losing.
It's about learning,
interactions.
Yeah, okay, cool. I just noticed that this card, when interacting with that specific deck, a great example is Marincess with a new rank 4 Link 4 coming out soon called Zelantis. So what Zelantis does is that whenever you summon him, he banishes everything on the field and then immediately brings it back out, right?
Sure.
The thing is, you're special summoning them. My Marincess is Waterlock me, meaning if I Waterlock myself to make Zelantis and then use his effect to banish everything, I get back all my water monsters. He's also a water monster. My opponent doesn't get back anything that isn't water.
Right.
That's just a weird, funny interaction. Yeah. Now that's if it works the exact same way as it's been translated to be worded. If it's worded the exact same way, that's how it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's also, when I playtest looking for, like I said, interactions. I try to understand
some new funky lines that,
not even things about my deck. I'm not worried about my deck. I'm worried about my opponent's decks.
I was just focusing on your deck in particular as far as learning it. With other decks, though, you got to find the people who actually have the meta decks.
Or play on Dueling Book, which is rough, but the best way to really playtest, in my opinion, is things like locals. Mm-hmm. Those are amazing just methods of playtest. What is Caleb playing?
I'm still on Marincess.
Yep. How good is Madolche? It can shuffle cards from grave and run D-Shifter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, not only that, it also gets to run one of the best rank 4s in the game, arguably.
Right.
And that it non-targeting shuffles my opponent's monsters back in the deck.
Did you get your sprites yet? No. Who wants to sell me a sprite core at a good price? Please hit me up. I need one. Are you gonna win in time summoning Red Resonator off Gigantic Sprite? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is going second the best thing you can be doing in the current format? Not in my opinion.
It really depends on your deck.
You're right. What was your childhood irrational fear? I was terrified of dogs growing up for some reason. Actually, I know the reason, but yeah, I was terrified of dogs.
Hitting the ground.
That's fair.
Not heights.
Or falling.
Not heights or falling. The end. Hitting the ground.
Is there an embarrassing moment you'd be willing to share with all of us for a Caleb/Sunny story time? Hit me up next episode. Next episode I'll do it because we're out of time. We're over on time. What made you come off Sword Soul for sprites? Nothing yet. I gotta get the sprites first. And then it'll be Sprite Tri-Brigade because Tri-Brigade's cool. Do you believe there will be a ban list soon? Yes. Potentially the day that this episode goes live.
Yeah, I think Cali Effect had a prediction of this Friday, actually.
Yeah. What rogue archetype is the closest to breaking through if given another piece of support, such as, like Mathmech Circular for Mathmex?
I don't know. The issue is, like, all the ones that immediately come to my mind all literally just got support.
Right. All right.
So.
Hear me out. Let me catch some Gear Gear support. Listen, all I'm telling you is Gear Gear Accelerator is not once per turn. That card's broken.
Listen.
Oh, he said a Fluffle Link 1. That would be broken.
Yeah, listen.
Ooh. You know, deck is really like one Link 1 away from being literally the best deck in the game. Prankits. Dude, if Prankits had a Link 1, that deck would be crazy.
Listen. All Geargia really needs is a way to abuse Geargia armor and his flip effect.
Honestly. Can you imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie?
Yeah.
Yes. If a card like Abyss Dweller moves in and out of the meta depending on the best strategies, is it ban-worthy? No.
Not really.
Do you think Konami will ever need to mass ban or limit an archetype like they did to the Dragon Rulers? It's already happened. Pepe. And Zodiac.
Yeah, it's already happened like twice before after Dragon Rulers. And it's not the last time it's going to happen. It's going to happen again.
Right. We'll see what happens. So, okay. With all that said, we ran over, but it's okay because
we were answering y'all's questions.
Right. We actually kept a good pace and flow today. That's wonderful.
Woo!
Yeah. So kudos to us for actually keeping our content thoughts together. So I'm proud of us, Caleb.
With minimal pauses.
It's not even the pauses, my man. It's that I stayed awake for the entire episode.
That's fair.
And if I can do it, I know that our guests can do it too because they're great, wonderful people. So A huge thank you again to all of our wonderful patrons, to Team Dark Arm Dealings. A huge thank you to the sponsors, ETB Games. Be sure to check out our Dragon Shield and TCG Player affiliate links. Be sure to check out Millennium Threads. Just check everybody out. Just click on every link in the description. Check out the Sebto360. He's amazing. He compiles the best format content that there is. Go click on everybody. So, thank you all so much for listening to today's episode of the Top Cut Podcast. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know. Send us your mailbag questions. Let us know what you think about the current format. And if you're on Spotify or Apple iTunes, be sure to leave us a rating and a review if you enjoyed today's content. With all that said, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you on Friday, unless I get another COVID booster shot and get sick again like I did last week. I'm sorry that we missed last episode.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.